Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS review of the CW DC Universe show Stargirl. Jump right into it. This episode 6, people, named Justice Society of America. Description: Courtney makes a difficult decision after Pat confronts her about the consequences of recruiting new members to the JSA. Barbara shows support for Mike's science fair. Courtney, Yolanda, Beth, and Rick prepare for their first major mission. So, as you can see, with it named Justice Society of America, this is clearly the episode where we get the full team finally together. Now, I know I was critical on episode 5. Very critical of it. I did not like that they split 2 hero origins into one episode. I wanted it to be solo. I find Beth to be a rather annoying character in high volume, but just like the best things in the world, you can always make a comeback, and this episode here, episode 6, is a really good to great episode. Again, last episode felt like a filler episode. This one feels like it's rounding out the rest of the show. So, quick points that we discovered in this episode. So, we get our first scenes with Artemis. I mean, for me personally, I only know Artemis from Young Justice, and we get our first looks at Sportsmaster and her mom in this one too, which is, I think it's Tigress. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but it got to be Tigress. Which is weird though, because in Young Justice, like that's supposed to be like the mantle was taken over by Artemis' sister from her mom, and all this. It was very weird in the show, but in this show, they are both hilariously violent characters. Now, Stargirl is normally great for the way it begins episodes. It normally gives you either a backstory or something leading into a character. This beginning does give you Artemis, but boy, does it give you her parents, and that they are psycho and crazy. I think that the beginning of this completely sets the tone for what you're going to get in the rest of this episode, which is at times is going to be violent, at times it's going to be extremely funny, but it's always going to be good. This is some of the best. This episode here was some of the best writing that Stargirl has had so far. So beyond us being introduced to those characters, we also get to see Pat finally confront Courtney about taking the items from the JSA headquarters and attempting to recruit a new team. Their dynamic is still the more the mentor mentee than stepfather daughter type dynamic, and we get to see her understand just how disappointed and how worried Pat is that she took these items and that she's attempting to build this team without thinking about the consequences that can lead to these decisions. And after that, we get a CW-ish type of a show. I say that a lot because, again, this show is on CW, and the more and more we get these moments, we kind of understand why this show is on CW, and we get the should I or should not take the items back, and we get the how the uniform has made Yolanda's life better, how Beth's life is better, how Rick feels like this is his stuff because it's his father. Like, we get all of those issues compounded in one, and Courtney attempting to make the right decision, or what she thinks is the right decision, on should she or shouldn't she take the items back from her friends. Again, that scene, again, is very CW, but it's done so well. And it's never done in a clownish way. I think with this episode, they played Beth perfectly. This is just the amount that I need to see this character without being annoyed by this character. I think the more and more we see her and Dr. Midnight become closer, and just that constant piece in her ear that leads her in the right directions, I think the better this character gets. I can see her character, which I again thought was the most annoying character humanly possible, growing a lot more the more we see her take on this persona of Dr. Midnight. Let's see what else was huge standouts for this episode. We finally get to see the gambler again, and actually what he does, and what he does extremely well. It's without giving too much away, because what he does kind of also leads to the big ending of the episode, but we get to see his importance to the Injustice Society of America, and that is highly important as we evolve with the show. We need to see what do these villains also bring to their team. We're kind of already seeing what the heroes bring to the team. So now we need to see what the villains bring to this team. And this episode, we kind of saw exactly what the Gambler brings to the team, and it's definitely something needed. And I think that was highly important to show him in that way. And then we get our little moment with Barbara and Mike. It was weird. It's the most touching moment of the episode. An episode that really does have some touching moments in it. This was the most touching moment in it. And it's just that someone constantly being there for you type of touching moment. It really worked. It's cheesy, extremely cheesy moment, but it really works for the episode. And we also get to see Icicle dealing with the birthday of his wife. And we get a nice reveal pertaining to the birthday of the wife of something that you kind of saw coming, but it's always good to have it revealed to you. And again, not spoiling anything, but it's a nice subtle reveal that will definitely have future ramifications for the remainder of the season. And then at that point, we get the big fight. We get the forming of the team. Again, this episode is not named Justice Society of America for no reason. We finally get the full team together, the full team fighting together and things of this nature. It is very comical. At times it is extremely silly, but the highlight of it is Courtney, Stargirl. Some of the moves, some of the things she pulls off in this episode are some of the best choreography for fighting I've seen in television shows or in movies. I mean, with her, with the staff, and the way they did everything with her fighting off with Sportsmaster, it was great. Amazingly great. And it also shows at times the limitations of this team and how they're going to need to grow to become a better team. And I think those type of things are highly important to show, especially when you reveal a team early on. Kind of like with Arrow when they reveal that mashup of characters at once and how it was kind of sloppy at first until they worked everything out. That's what we get here in the best way humanly possible, though. And again, all credit to Stargirl. This is some of the best fighting. When you all get a chance to see it, you'll understand. Like, some of the best things I've ever seen. Definitely from a CW show, but even if I take it to motion pictures, I don't think choreography for fighting in this way with things that are going to be heavily CGI'd has been done as well as this was. So get prepared. Stargirl, episode 6, Justice Society of America. It will drop Monday on DC Universe, Tuesday on CW. Check it out. Let us know what you think about this episode. Peace.